The total bill for everything came up to about 1,000,000 pesos. There was no way I could have waited to get back to the States on that surgery. I
You
had to
couldn't have
have
made
that
it back.
done.
No.
This is what you got right now. I see it's a hernia, and it looks like your intestines are basically wrapping around themselves. They've tied a knot. We're gonna have to operate right
So
now.
glad we was praying for you. I'm so glad to see you,
I
man. And
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna tell this backstory real quick. I met your girl first, what 3 years ago when I was dating my ex. I ain't gonna say her name because
Right on.
Dominican gonna go
Right.
crazy. So, but I met Rosa, and we did the interview, and I'm gonna put that interview in there. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dominican Route, and I have two special guests. They are both Haitian and Dominican, right? Because you guys are mixed. That's awesome. So I have Rose and I have Emily. There, but it's just amazing, man, how you guys met and y'all got a good relationship. You got a good girl, and y'all are perfect for each other, man.
That's my lady.
That's
my lady.
that's what's up.
Love
That's,
her to death.
that's what's up, man. Thank you so much for always inviting us to play. So let's jump right into it, man. You were visiting here. He's visiting your girl, and tell us how long you've been here and exactly what happened.
Okay, so I was here for at that time when this started to happen, where I started to get a little sick, was probably about 2.5 weeks at that point. I first had some back issues, but I'm service connected, being a Marine.
So you're in the military.
Yes, I was in the Marine.
Thank you for serving our country,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, appreciate it. And so I was having a lot of back issues, which is normal for me. But it got to the point where it was so much pain. The pain was so intense. I haven't felt that level of pain since I originally had my first injury while I was serving. So I went down, went to the emergency room, and they pumped me full of some IVs with pain meds, and I usually get some morphine when I'm in the VA in the States, but they don't have opioids like that here. So they gave me something as close as they could to that. I still left the hospital in pain.
Oh,
Right. So a day later, I'm back at the house or here, and we're just relaxing, and the pain's just not going. But at the same time, it felt like it was moving. So now it's in my stomach. So I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, and this is pain beyond pain that I know of. So
Right.
I said, hey, baby, I don't know, do you got the ranks? What you think? She go back to the hospital, whatnot? And she was like, yeah, I ain't never seen you like this. Let's go. We went to the hospital.
And it wasn't a public hospital.
Yeah,
it was a private hospital.
Yeah, so I checked the U.S. Embassy site, and we got one of the closest hospitals, which was the private hospital right here in Piantini. Excuse me, I don't recall the name of it at this moment.
Okay, no, you good. You good.
But we ended up going there, and they got me in the emergency, told them what was going on, and they took me back after I explained to them and said, hey, we got to get a CT scan.
Right.
And from what they got from the CT scan, we said, hold up, we're going to have to get another x-ray.
Right, and
So
I didn't mean to cut you off. The reason I brought up public and private is to let people know, like, if you would have went to a public hospital, they probably wouldn't have done a lot of these things, and you would have been kind of ass out.
Right. I definitely agree with that. They said that is one of the better hospitals here that I actually chose.
Okay.
It is their private hospital, and they got some of the best people. Matter of fact, the surgeon that worked on me is well known in his field of surgery, so I got one of the best people out here to do that.
Gotcha.
So once they got there and they saw what was going on, or the emergency doctor looked at the x-ray, she went on and called the surgeon, which is the one that came in and did the operation. And he's the one that came and talked to me, because none of those people, they spoke English. They was only talking to my lady, and she's bilingual, she speaks the Spanish too, so she's talking to them, and she was like, yo, something's really wrong, they're not telling me right now. So she's trying to figure out, but we're just relaxed. I'm like, hey, tranquilo. So he comes in, he says, hey, this is what you got right now. I see it's a hernia, and it looks like your intestines are basically wrapping around themselves. They've tied a knot. We're gonna have to operate right now. Emergency surgery.
Right.
And now we're like, okay,
Is that when, I remember you told me the story, when did they get your passport or identification? When did they hold it? Because they held that, right?
Yes. I don't recall the exact time. I do believe that.
You was in pain, so.
Right. And before they took me back for the X-rays, that's when they took my ID. And yes, they also took my lady's ID too.
Wow, they took her ID and they took your ID.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Wow. Okay. All right, go on. I'm sorry. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So at that point, the doctor is trying to rush the nurses and the doctors in the emergency room, like, hey, we need to get this guy up there now. And we don't know what they was doing. They're still doing their emergency room care and they're going around seeing other patients at the same time. But he said he had that's one thing he can do is just verbally rush them.
Gotcha.
And tell them, hey, time is of the essence right now. We need to get him in surgery. They finally, my lady says, hey, what's the hold up? And he actually came back and told my girl, hey, get in there and tell them they need to hurry up with you because we need to get your man back there and operate on him now. So she goes and talks to them in Spanish and tells them, hey, what's the hold up, and she puts some fire under their tail. And they finally come back and say, okay, we need you to pay a deposit before we admit you.
Okay, gotcha.
The deposit that they said was 100,000 pesos.
So 100,000 pesos, US dollars is.
That's about 100 and $1,600. A little bit over. A little bit over.
Wow,
right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
and we hadn't even got to the big part yet.
Yeah, no, that's just that's just for them to start.
Right.
So I paid it, and that's when you start seeing everybody come down, and they're like, "Hey, take off the coat, put on the gown. We're taking you up right now."
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened. They put the IV in me, and just like at a regular hospital at that point, we went straight up to the pre-op room,
right?
And they did the pre-op assessment real quick. It didn't even take 3 to 5 minutes, and they were rolling me into the operation room.
Put you to sleep.
Yes, put me to sleep. It was just less than a few minutes.
Wow. So you signed paperwork, or your girl signed paperwork, or who? What?
There was no paperwork signed.
It wasn't?
No paperwork signed.
It wasn't? Okay.
No paperwork signed.
Hey, they swiped that credit card and it was...
That's what it was. That's what it was. We signed all the paperwork towards the end when I was ready to get out. There was no paperwork signed at the beginning.
Got you. So you wake up, and how long did you stay in the hospital for?
I was in there for about 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days.
Yeah, I did wake up. I just remember all that after that, even while I was kind of in the triage area for the hospital, it was still somewhat blurred. But I just remember coming out the surgery, I was just really cold.
Gotcha.
And, I remember I have another friend here that's in this area. He came to just meet with my lady and meet with me, and make sure we was all good, and she was kind of panicking. And I just remember hearing their voices, and I was pretty much back out of it. Right. I was out of it for a while.
Right.
But the pain was gone. I just had the pain at the site in which they cut me.
Right. So we having a hard time because it's hospital terminology. So read it to me exactly what happened with.
This is what they said had happened. I had an internal hernia in the region close. Thin loops have twisted in several segments, also showing torsion of the mesentery root.
Wow.
And basically, they just went in there and reversed all of that.
Gotcha.
How the doctor explained it to me, he said, basically, your intestines was hitting a wall. And they found that hernia went through it and came back out, wrapped around itself twice.
Ooh, that sounds painful, man.
And it squeezed.
So it's a chance you could have passed away.
Yes.
It's a good chance,
Yes, there was no way I could have waited to get back to the States on that surgery.
You couldn't have made it back.
No.
How did you pay for it, or did you have cash, or did you use your credit card, or what do they accept, what don't they accept?
Okay. So at first I tried to use my insurance, and we actually tried to give them my card when I walked in there, and I got Blue Cross Blue Shield in the States. I'm also a disabled veteran, so I have the VA. And in the States we don't pay better.
Right.
Thanks for our service and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, they don't take any of that.
The Dominican Republic doesn't take any of that.
Yes, and when they requested their payment, They wanted cash.
Cash money.
So, fortunately, my lady has a Dominican bank, and she already had a decent amount of money in her account. So she was able to pay a few bills, but we did not have enough. As it came up to the total bill for everything came up to about 1,000,000 pesos.
$1,000,000 pesos. So how much is that roughly?
It's a little less than
US.
It's a little less than 15,000 USD.
So $15,000.
Yes.
Man, oh man, and that's why I think Rico stays on me about me getting my insurance because I kind of I be ass out, excuse my French, but because I don't have the means, or I would probably have to make some calls and get it or whatever, but you don't have time to be calling around looking for money if they perform an emergency surgery on you. So that's good. You had your ducks in order, brother. So yes. I respect. Okay, my next question is: does the hospital supply any food, and did they take care of you? And how did you feel comfortable, or did you have any issues?
Oh, the service was great in the hospital. They waited on you very well. Now, the nurses, it's hit and miss. You get some good ones, you get some bad ones.
That's like in the United States.
Right. The same thing. But what's even better though is that we had one nurse that we really had a good relationship with, and she actually was able to come back and requested to work my area. Gotcha. Not a lot of people that's in the hospital, I think because of the cost, honestly. But she basically was just about my personal nurse.
That's awesome.
Right. And she was on call just for me, and that's another reason why I believe the bills are so high, because those nurses are paid by the day. They're not just
You're not paid through insurance and contractors. Okay,
right. Those nurses there are paid by the day. That's one of the things she was telling us.
Gotcha.
That she gets a set amount for the day, and that's even just for just a few hours, but they typically work 12-hour shifts.
Gotcha. Was the medication free? And if it wasn't free, how much did you have to pay for the medication, and what did you have to get?
Ain't nothing free. Ain't nothing free. No leave right here.
No, nothing.
So the medication definitely was in the cost when we had to pay our final bill.
Gotcha.
Just like the food came from a restaurant, and obviously I had to eat a certain way after the surgery. And the restaurant is a restaurant that you can actually order from here if you're not even in the hospital, or you can order. I think it's on Uber Eats and the other app that they have here. But the food was really good, and I would definitely say it's better than the food you get in the hospitals in the States.
Gotcha.
but it was all.
You lost a couple pounds.
I did. I wasn't eating.
Right. Yeah. And that's I lost it. Yeah. You
that
can't,
ain't good.
No.
You have to get that back.
Yeah, that's all right. No, but you look good, man. You look good. I'm just glad you're doing good. All right. My next question is, did the nurses and doctors speak English? Did you have any issues with the language barrier or anything like that?
I did have issues with the language barrier. From the time we walked in, nobody speaking English, and that's even in the emergency room. The surgeon, he was the only one that spoke English.
Really?
The nurses didn't speak English. Everybody speaks Spanish. So I'm thankful I had my lady with me. She was able to handle all of that part. But the doctor, he knows some English because he studied in the States.
Gotcha. Did you feel safe or security? And did it feel like you felt uncomfortable being in there, or you felt safe?
Number one, I put everything in God's hands, so everything's gonna be all right when that's on the front lines. But there was no concern about not feeling safe. I definitely felt good about the surgeon after talking to him when we first came in.
And was the place clean?
It was clean. The place was very clean.
Gotcha.
Probably one of the cleanest places here in DR.
That's cool. Did you call 911, or how did you get to the hospital?
So I thought about calling 911, but I know how it works here, and we wasn't too far. And I've been coming here for over 18 months, almost 2 years now. And I come every 3 months, so I know quite a few people here. So we just called up a friend that's not too far, and he came and picked me up.
Gotcha.
And that was probably about 12 o'clock midnight when that happened.
All right, brother, before we go, I have one more question for you. what can you tell the subscribers or the people that's going to Colombia and the Dominican Republic? What's some of the things that kind of stand out to you from this incident?
After this, I definitely want people to know that you need to get some type of insurance when traveling here. And I'm not sure if it's the same insurance that you purchase with your airlines. I do not think that is the case. Don't quote me on that. But I know that there's certain insurances that you can actually buy here in New York, and there's other insurances that's traveler's insurance for health. I've seen one that a buddy sent me that you can purchase that has a 3 month stint that's costs about $100.
Gotcha.
But after this experience that I've went through, I definitely recommend that, so they won't be left with a huge bill like that. We've seen many videos of people who come here to DR and they think they balling $1,000 is a lot. That is here.
Right.
Not in the U.S., but here $1,000 will take you far. But you just never know what can happen. And
right.
in my case, something happened. By the grace of God, I had the funds to take care of everything.
Right.
But had I not, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
Man, that's emotional, man, and I'm so glad you're here, and I appreciate you doing this interview. And Rico always get on me about you got to get some type of insurance. You got to get some type of insurance.
You need to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. Especially with me being here, for the most part, a lot, and you come back and forth or whatever, but. I'm definitely gonna be getting insurance, and for everybody out there, if you go to Colombia, if you go to Thailand, if you go to the Dominican Republic, get some type of insurance, because you hear accidents, people on 4-wheelers, or people get hit by cars and things like that. So, with that being said, man, you got anything else to say?
Just listen to that good information, and if you come to DR, enjoy it. It's a very beautiful country. One day when I retire, I definitely hope to be living here like you, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, and may peace be still. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.